Welcome to MHB Reviews. I review books and Bibles using high-resolution imaging and professional audio as a supplement to all of the video reviews on YouTube. Today we are looking at the Word Biblical Commentary. This is a 61-volume set that was published by Word, Thomas Nelson, and Zondervan from 1982 to 2014. This review is going to use Volume 46, which is Pastoral Epistles by William D. Mounts. The dust jacket of each volume contains a flap which provides an overview of the commentary. On the back, we read that the Word Biblical Commentary comes from a team of more than 50 international scholars. Its more than 60 volumes offer the best in critical scholarship firmly committed to the authority of Scripture as divine revelation, harvesting the important historical, textual, literary, and archaeological discoveries from a generation of scholarship. The Word Biblical Commentary serves the needs of professional scholars and teachers, students of the Bible and of theology, working ministers, and anyone who wants a theological understanding of Scripture that is grounded in the best of today's biblical scholarship. There's your ISBN. The other flap of the dust jacket provides a list of the other works in the set. This is what it looks like with the dust jacket removed. And there's the spine. I should note that some of the volumes in my set are a little bit bent. I received these as a gift from a pastor, and some of them had been sitting at an awkward angle for a while. Gold and green head and tail bands. I think these books are Smythe sewn or constructed in some similar way. The binding is very sturdy, even on a thicker volume like this one. There's your width, and height, and thickness. I have no complaints about the corner work on this hardcover edition. It's a paste-down paper liner, but it's really well constructed, and I don't think you need vinyl or leather liners on commentaries. Title page. These are your editors. Second title page. This edition was printed in the United States. I think Word Biblical has been published all the way up until 2014, and if they stopped, it's likely only because people have switched to the digital edition. This one is a 2000. Here's your table of contents. Feel free to pause the review so that you can look over the offerings. Second page of contents. Editorial preface. Author's preface. Abbreviations. Commentary bibliography. The bibliographies in this volume are massive. The author has put some serious research into this work. And there's a general bibliography. And these are multiple pages long. I'm just showing you the first page of each. Introduction with yet another bibliography. The introduction to this work goes over preliminary issues, the pastoral epistles within the framework of Paul's life, critical questions about the pastoral epistles within the framework of Paul's life, themes in the pastoral epistles. You get an outline. Look how thick the front matter is on this book. You get all that information before even beginning on the commentary. The commentary begins. Now, I want to take you through the commentary section of 1 Timothy chapter 1 verses 1 and 2. The format for each commentary is the same across the entire set, so walking through this will give you a good idea as to what these commentaries offer. You can see that it starts with a bibliography, and that's followed by the author's translation of the original biblical manuscripts. Then there are translator's notes. This is followed by form, structure, and setting. This section is where the author examines the literary anatomy of the passage. It's going to help you put the passage into literary, historical, and sociocultural context. And that will be immediately followed with the verse-by-verse commentary section. At the bottom of the page, that number 1 means verse 1, and the text that follows it is the author's comments. You can see that he goes straight into the original languages. And this is followed by deep, deep explanation of the verse. Look at all of that material on just the first verse. There you see at the bottom it moves to verse 2, but not just verse 2, verse 2a. This author is going so deep as to break the second verse into subsections. There's 2b. I cannot emphasize enough the wealth of knowledge that these volumes contain. It really is some of the best in biblical scholarship. I rely on this set daily in my work as an expositor. That's still verse 2. You can see that the font is very readable and the paper is nice and thick. It looks like a 10-point font. More on verse 2. And at the end of each passage you have one of these explanation sections. This really summarizes what you learned in your deep dive. Sometimes it can be helpful to read this section first so that you know where the author is going to go with it. And then we get to verses 3 through 20, which you can imagine is going to be quite a bit of material. I just love these books. At the back you have Index of Modern Authors, Index of Principal Topics, Index of Biblical and Other Ancient Sources. You can see it references the apocryphal writings, pseudepigrapha and early Jewish literature, also the Dead Sea Scrolls, Josephus, Philo, and rabbinic literature, early Christian literature, Greek and Latin literature, and you get 4 blank pages at the back. And there's your paste down paper liner. I can't recommend the Word Biblical Commentary enough. It'll take you about as deep as you can go into the scripture when it comes to areas like literary, historical, and sociocultural context. It's also a valuable resource for those of you who are competent in the original languages. The only downside to this commentary set is that it is very expensive. Logos sells it for $1,200, and that's even if you purchase the electronic version. If you decide to go with the physical books, all I can tell you is that many of the volumes in my set date back to the 80s, and they are in near perfect condition. Links are in the description for Logos and for Amazon, although I was not able to find the full set on Amazon. Don't forget to subscribe and remember to check out the MHB podcast. Thank you all for joining me, and I will see you in the next review.